Okay,
Is your
all
phone
eyes on
sound
me,
off?
Please. Go this side, actually. Face me first.
Yes.
Do you want to let your drummer know that you're gonna be doing the interview in case he like hits you up?
That's okay.
You can't see my sticks? Oh, how about now? We're good. All right, slating.
Hi.
Hi. It is on.
It's on, yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
こんにちは。
こんにちは。
はい。
こんばんは。
こんばんは。Yes. Everything in between.
Yes. So, this is a bit of a weird episode we're doing.
It is, huh?
I think you are so far the only Japanese musician based in America that we've invited.
Uh-huh.
And you know the least about this music that we're talking about. So glad that you're out here spreading Japanese music.
Yeah. Somehow, anyhow. Right? Yes. I'm happy to be part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming. This is
Well,
usually
thank
where
you for having me, yes.
This is usually where I'd start out by saying thank you so much for your performance, but looking forward to your performance.
Oh, yeah. See what happens. But yes, happy to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
I'm gonna start out with a little bio
All right.
about you that I tried to find information online, and you can slap me if I'm wrong.
Can I practice slapping you before?
This is Big Yuki. You are Big Yuki.
Yes.
You were born in Japan,
Born and raised.
and I can't actually find confirmation easily about where specifically because, and you were saying earlier that you're from Kobe, right?
I was born in Kobe, yes.
So you were born in Kobe. Okay.
But then soon I moved to Mie Prefecture.
Right. So there's in English once I found something saying you're from Tsushi
That's where I grew up, yeah.
in Mie, and I remembered you telling me something about that you came from Mie at one point. But then online when I looked in Japanese, it all said Kobe. So I was.
Well, I mean, you know, it's more people likely to know about Kobe.
You began piano. You began studying piano at 6,
Yeah.
age 6 years old, and you came. I can't find anything between 6 years old and college, basically. So you graduated high school at some point in Japan.
Well, you know, I never pursued music until actually coming to States. I was doing classical music. I guess I was more active when I was younger. I was fortunate to have some of the amazing piano teachers.
Right.
I participated in some contests and yeah, did a bunch of performances. But then as I went to Chugakko, I kind of stopped. I got kind of, you know, lazy. I got interested in other stuff outside of piano. And I kind of came back to it when I was in high school. Because in high school, you kind of have to start thinking like what you're going to be doing when you grow up. And I'm like, I don't know what I want to do in life. And I think I thought about what I actually continued doing. And the music was one of few that I kind of kept doing, even though I got really lazy. Yeah.
How did you get into Berkeley?
Crazy, right? So okay, I was in, I was in high school in Japan, and I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do in my life. Everybody was, planning to go to colleges, studying this and that. And then maybe the luckiest thing about me is that both my parents have lived in the States.
Someone.
Yeah, my mom and my dad. My mom especially went to high school in Schenectady. Oh shit, my mic dropped. My mom went to high school in Schenectady, upstate New York, as an exchange student.
Okay.
When Kennedy was in presidency.
Okay.
Pretty nuts. But yeah, and my dad, had lived in the States doing some business or whatever. So they both had understanding of me living abroad, especially in the States. And then I don't know how I got the idea of actually leaving Japan, going to the States, but it's definitely from me finding out about Berkeley College of Music in Boston.
So Berkeley is why you went to America.
Yeah, the number one reason I look back is that I wanted to change my scenery. I just didn't know what I wanted to do, like stay in Japan, going to college, and I just kind of wanted to change it all.
Right.
And I just use music as the tool for me to make it happen.
Right.
Yeah, because music is one of few that I just kept doing. Yeah. So I decided to go to Berkeley, and here I am in the States, in college, where all these crazy, like talented musicians from all over the places just thrive, right? It's, it was crazy for me as an 18-year-old kid, freshly from Japan, knowing nothing, seeing the kids in the same age group, kind of like knowing their mission in their life. Like they, they already discovered their passion. It sounds very privileged for me to say that. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just came to the States. I had the access, which I'm really thankful for. Coming to U.S. and coming to Berkeley. Yeah, it was shocking to see all these people from all over the world, like same age group, just kind of knowing what they're doing with their life, and then they're capable of doing what they want to be doing, and then me not knowing what I want to do, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to do. I was like, oh. But here's the thing. I think when you see something that's like so extraordinary, like you have two options. Like one, you completely surrender, you give up. You're like, this is not where I belong to. And the other option is that, shoot, this is so exciting. I want to be doing what they're doing, and I will be doing. So luckily, I was there later. I was like, wow, that's what the music is, Right. That's what the music can do, That's what you can do with music. Just making connection with the world, with the people.
Right. Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Huh? No, it's a lot thinking about the past, like revisiting the moment where I was like super overwhelmed.
Did I take you into a bit of an anxious memory there?
Anxious memory, yes. This is a therapy session.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the couch is for. Upon graduating from Berkeley, you stayed in Boston as a session player for a bit before eventually moving to New York.
Yeah.
Since then, you've worked with, among others, Jose James, Talib Kweli, Mark Juliana, A Tribe Called Quest, Antonio Sanchez, and Chai, and of course many others. You've also lent your songwriting talents for A Tribe Called Quest's Melatonin off of their 2016 record, We Got It From Here. Thank you for your service.
Yes.
And Chai's Maybe Chocolate Chips off their most recent record, Wink. You also have released 3 solo records and an EP, starting with Greek Fire in 2016.
Yeah.
Followed
that
by
long ago.
Yeah. Followed by Reaching for, is it Chiron?
Chiron.
Chiron.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just an
tricky,
idiot.
right?
No, it's
No. There's also a car, right? Called Chiron or Chiron.
Citron?
Citron.
Isn't it Citroen?
Oh, is it? With the same spelling.
No.
Different?
It can't be the same spelling.
Possible though, I don't know.
I think,
Yeah.
what? It's a French car company, right?
Is it? I have no idea, bro.
It doesn't matter.
I would
We're
call
not
it
here to talk
Chiron.
about cars.
Yes, exactly. Chiron, the centaur, the Greek mythology.
Okay. I am not well versed in Greek
Wikipedia.
mythology.
Thanks to Wikipedia. Yeah.
Got it.
That's where I get all the wisdom from.
So like most of the stuff you know is wrong.
I don't know. We're about to find out, right? With all the questions.
And then in 2020, you released your EP 2099.
Yeah.
And most recently, Neon Chapter.
Right.
In 2021.
Yes.
And then this year, you've been touring, supporting artists such as Antonio Sanchez and with your trio. Anything I've missed or you'd like to add?
That's pretty much it. Yeah. Released the album last year. start working on my own, like my solo project also.
New solo project?
Yeah, during the quarantine because I couldn't travel with my band.
Right.
So I started like kind of, doing the solo performances, and then that kind of evolved. And yeah.
Like what you were doing at like Billboard みたいなやつ.
Billboard and Bloom. Yeah. I found quite a joy in the process because, like you can do anything, you know what I mean? And there's no time lag between, like between the moment when I come up with the idea and then the time to execute it. It's just all in me. So boop, 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 boop. You can do anything.
Right.
Yeah. So that's been fun. Yeah. I have a plan to just keep doing my solo thing as well as the band performances. Since now that the border is open.
Right.
In the world.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
So that's who you are.
Yes.
You're going to perform
Yes.
Keppeki Niisan
はい。
by Yoshida Minako. Can you tell us a little bit why you chose this song and artist?
Quite frankly, because of the title. Like Keppeki Niisan, and then start with, you washing your hands. I'm like, oh, very timely. It's a lot filthy things going around the world, and, just wash your hand.
So
Cool.
it's from the lyrics.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the title. And then, okay, this is interesting. This is an interesting title. And then played it. And that was some funky jump. In 6/4, not like a regular, conventional funk tune, but it's like really interesting. And then Minako Yoshida-san, her singing is dope. She was in a pocket. I'm like, damn, some soulful
Right.
Japanese lady.
Yeah.
Damn, I fucks with that. So yeah, it was almost instant. Like when I heard it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you know what? To be honest, I listen to a lot of stuff, right? Especially Hosono-san. And really cool, but then also it's like a lot of synth stuff going, and then I'm like, I don't really see the point of me revisiting these songs because these songs are already like boom. Like, not that Keppeki Niisan is dope, but I feel like it has more like room for me to actually kind of get in and explore within a song. Yeah.
Can you give us a little bio of
Of
Yoshida-san?
what? Me?
What do you know? Okay, what do you know about Minako-san?
What do I know? I did a little research on the way coming here.
Okay.
But I said this is funky track, and I checked to see who is playing.
Okay.
And then Ponta-san playing drums, right?
Right.
And then Yano-san, Akiko Yano is on piano, and she's slaying it. Yeah. Guitar player's killing it. Bass. Yeah. Serious
Actually,
jammers. But I don't, to be honest, I don't really know much about Minako-san.
Right.
Yeah?
Right. Well, let me change that.
Please, change me.
I don't know if I can change you. But, cool. So,
I'm ready.
Minako-san was
Yes.
born in Saitama in 1953.
Uh-huh.
She began writing songs and performing them herself at the suggestion of Hosono-san and Matsumoto-san,
How they met?
whom she met while in high school.
High school. Wow. Because I also noticed that Matsutoya-san, the producer, he was playing a Moog.
Was it Moog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's him.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to see all the familiar familiar names that I know from maybe the current music scene that I grew up with when I was in high school, Like actually, like they were, on their younger ages, just playing music.
Oh, yeah. I think with Alpha especially, we have a lot of stuff on our catalog that people kind of categorize as like proto city pop.
Proto.
Yeah.
Pop. What's
So-
proto?
It's like before
Pre?
it becomes city pop. So like Kosaka Chu-san no Horo toka is considered like proto city pop. And to me it sounds like much it's just very, it's kind of like R&B influenced, like but rock influenced, like very. It's a very 70s sound to me.
And you hear more of like a direct influence from the Western music.
Yeah. Very direct influence. Very much referencing like blues and folk and rock. And city pop kind of comes from there. I mean, like Yamatatsu is also like on a bunch of credits on Alpha. I think
In the background, like even like writing lyrics and stuff.
he does a lot of. He did it for Keppeki Niisan too. He arranges a lot of the vocal choirs.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and he usually also will sing. Yeah, he's singing on that too. It's oh my god, 豪華。矢野明子さん、山下達郎さん、吉田美奈子さん、大貫妙子さん。
Also, I read that that's the only song that Yoshida-san like wrote the lyrics and then the melody.
On that record.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that record, I think she has quite a lot of, because I think that's the record that also has like Yume ni Aitara and stuff.
Yeah. That's a
Which
famous
is-
one.
That's Otake Eiichi. So yeah, she began. Back to Yoshida Miyako.
Oh yeah, we took a lot of detours. Nice.
Back to her bio.
Yeah, it's a nice day. Nice to walk around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Meander through the garden. So yeah, she was encouraged to do the music thing by Hosono-san and Matsumoto Takashi-san. She was in a piano duo in 1971 and started hanging around like the happy end people. And that's kind of how she made her way into the scene.
Gotcha.
And then her first professional credit as a musician was for a flute solo, actually.
She plays flute?
Yeah, she did.
Wow.
She has a flute solo on Otake Eiichi's first solo album.
She's a musical force.
Yeah.
Super cool.
She released her first record, Tobira no Fuyu, in 1973 under Trio's Showboat. And that was produced by Hosono Haruomi and backed by Caramel Mama. And she's has like songwriting credits on like a bunch of albums as well, because she did a bunch of like lyric writing and songwriting as well. She kind of does everything. Kind of going a little bit away from her actual like bio.
I wonder what it was like. Like everybody was just hanging in the studio. Was there like the studio that everybody just comes and hang out?
Eventually, it was
Yeah.
Studio A.
Studio A?
Yeah. So Alpha built. Alpha. I'm kind of going all over, but you know what? Let's just jump into it.
Yeah. Why not?
Alpha.
Jazz, baby, jazz.
When Alpha started, they were originally a publishing company. So Murai-san started as a publishing company with Yamagami Michio-san, the lyricist. And so they wrote a lot of stuff together, and their whole thinking was basically like, we think our songs are good. Let's create our own publishing company to pitch songs ourselves. And so he starts a publishing company called Alpha Music, and that's kind of where it starts. They don't actually start kind of producing records until he starts Alpha. Oh, right. Well, I guess so they start the publishing company, and they start Mushroom Records. Mushroom Records, which is, it's kind of like a much more rock and folk based record label. It's got like Garo, Narita Ken, Osaka-chu. And they release stuff under Columbia, and that's when they start trying to like also produce songs. So Mushroom is essentially like if not the first, one of the first like indie labels in Japan. Because the whole thing was they wanted minor label 作りたい. And the founders were like Mickey Curtis, Uchida Yuya,
Interesting. Wow.
Murai-san, Kazai Shoro-san, and this artist's name I always forget. How rude of me. And another person.
Yeah, right. Kind of a credible person.
Yes. So it's got this kind of like, oh, we're writing songs, so let's create a publishing company. Oh, we're pitching these songs to these cool artists. We need a label to release things in. And I guess Mushroom is where they first start kind of producing things. And with that, they move towards building a studio. So they start a studio under a company called Alpha and Associates. Murai-san gets a bunch of money from his friend who is like CEO of a car company. Forget which car company.
So it's all back in 70s, right?
This is early 70s. Yeah.
Early 70s. Wow.
So he gets Yanase.
トラクター?
So
はい。
so he got funding from the head of Yanase to build a new studio. And then
It's like an interesting connection with like a different fields.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's in 1972. And they build out their studio. And so it was built either in 72 or 73. So it's just as old as Onkyo House.
In Ginza.
Yes, because Onkyo House is 50 next August. So that was also 73. August 1st, 73.
That's that old.
It's that, I mean, a bunch of the YMO records are done there.
At Onkyo House?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Everyone is at, so the first, like, you and me,
Yeah.
her first 4 records were done at the Alpha studio, and then pretty much everything she's done since then have been at Onkyo House.
Wow.
Yeah. Onkyo House is like a big deal.
Damn. Yeah. I've been there a few times. I'm friend with the super OG engineer there. Damn, I forgot the fucking name. I'm so rude too. Oh my god, I want to mention the name. Can I?
Yeah.
Time out. I'm going through the
Oh my god. Is this Messenger?
past conversation.
Is this Instagram?
Instagram combo is in one of these. Maybe I can get away without the name, right? I just want to say that I've been to Onkyo House and I love the place. And then there's a coffee place nearby that's pretty damn good. Fuck it. Whatever. The Onkyo House is the shit, eh?
Onkyo House is the shit.
Okay, Onkyo House is amazing. Yeah, I've been there a few times.
And the main difference between Onkyo House and Alpha is that, well, I think Onkyo House is like bigger. They have a lot more studios, but also Alpha doesn't exist anymore. Studio A. Yeah, it was in Shibaura.
Shibaura?
Yeah, so it's Shibaura Studio A. Anything that you see, 多分ここら辺とか.
So 全部そこで? So it was like a recording studio, recording, mixing.
Recording and mixing. And I think it was the first 16 track in Japan. It might have been first, it must be 16 though. 違った。CBS ソニーだった。CBS ソニースタジオ六本木。
そうなんだ。アルファスタジオとその音響ハウスが one of the first ones in Japan.
They're definitely some of the first studios to have like the equipment that they have. Because I think
okay.
everything in Japan was 4-track up to then.
Wow.
Like literally everything. And people would come to Alpha to use the multi-track. That's why I'm not sure if it was 8 or 16. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. But that became like the creative hub. That became like the artist's hand.
Yeah, so they create
young songwriters and
right. They create this place called Alpha. Well, they create a company called Alpha and Associates. I wouldn't say that place became necessarily the hang, but that became like the place for Alpha to actually produce the songs that they were writing. If anything, the hangout spot is probably Canty.
Canty is the...
Ikura Canty.
Is that a club?
No, it's like an Italian restaurant.
へえ。
They were the first restaurant in Japan to serve pesto pasta.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like pesto pasta. But that was where like everybody was hanging.
That's where everyone was
All the
hanging.
artists.
Yeah. It was like you could go and you can meet Salvador Dali and Mishima Yukio and Frank Sinatra in one night kind of place.
In Tokyo. Yeah. Okay.
And actually, Chianti becomes a whole nother thing. But Chianti is really fascinating because, again, all those people were there. It became this like kind of multi-generational place. Like Murai-san was talking about how that's kind of where he learned how to do things. Because like he would be able to talk to older artists, like of older generations about how did this happen and that happen, and you know, いい勉強になったみたいな話して。
Wow, sounds like a really exciting era.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, Alpha Music doesn't actually form their record label until 77.
Label. Okay. Till then, it was more like a recording.
It was a publishing company. And then the recording studio, so I guess production company.
Yeah.
And they would release under other labels, or they would release under like Mushroom, which was a venture with Columbia.
Yeah. And then finally it became the label.
Yeah. And then it becomes a label in like 77. The first album that came out on the label is Watanabe Kazumi's Mermaid Boulevard, which I think is 70. I think it's 77.
You had one of his songs on the list that you gave, right? Was that from the album?
That was not from that album.
Okay.
Yeah, his stuff I figured was a bit harder because it's like there's like no
instrument.
It's all instrumental.
Yeah.
But he is a fantastic jazz guitarist, and
it's just crazy that that's all Alpha, right?
It's all Alpha.
It's just how wide the musicality goes.
Yeah.
From this one label.
Yeah.
There's this like super electro synth heavy sound to the actual like fusion jazz, like just going at it.
Right.
To this like a Brazilian influenced feel good, to the soul, to the funk. It's crazy.
I mean, I think the big thing is like it's a label created by like creatives. Like Murai-san is a composer.
Yeah.
And he started the company for his own music. And then it became, I guess, eventually longer term more about supporting other artists, right? But I think Murai-san had a very like, oh, you want to do this thing and you're not sure if it'll work? Cool, let's try it kind of attitude.
Super cool.
Yeah. And he, like, without him, there's no way YMO would have happened because I don't think anybody would have taken a risk on YMO.
Yeah.
Because that all came down to he loved Hosono's work. And so eventually Hosono-san becomes like a producer for Alpha in like mid 70s, I think. And he's producing for Alpha and he goes up to Murai-san and he says, I have this idea for a band, which is YMO. And Murai-san's basically like, I don't get it, but like,
let's try. Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
Because he had a financial backing to make it possible.
Right.
That's super cool.
I mean, on the other hand, that may be why the label didn't last forever because they were willing to like not just right. It's not just aiming for commercial success. It's aiming for like creation of actual art and culture. If everyone around you is aiming for commercial success, they're gonna take most of what's in the pot. So.
The label didn't survive, but the legacy lives on.
I mean, the music from especially like, because Murai-san leaves Alpha by 85.
He does leave, huh?
Yeah, and their output in the 70s and 80s is insane, and it drops off tremendously in the 90s. Yeah, most people leave the label when he leaves. Not everyone, but. But it's been really fun because we've been doing like interviews with some of the older artists.
Gotcha. Who actually had affiliation with the
Yeah,
label.
yeah, yeah. We interviewed Minako-san as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That I want to watch.
We're working on a longer form thing.
That's super cool.
But why did I get there?
I was wondering if there was like a cultural hub in Tokyo where all these artists and
right.
composers.
It's probably Chianti.
Wow. Chianti. Oh yeah, right.
I don't know why I
Pesto spaghetti.
Yes, the first pesto in Japan. So we didn't get really a bio this time.
But that's all good.
Yeah. Hey, if you want a succinct bio of Yoshida Minako-san, check out Ray's episode.
Boom. There you go.
You wanna listen to the song a little bit and let me know, and like something pops up that you have something to.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Like any thoughts that you had about like why you made decisions that you made and whatnot.
I mean, first of all, like the musicians just digging it, just playing a pocket. It's
Right.
Funky bunch. Ooh. But what is she singing about? I'm curious. It's just like a daily life, and you get just overwhelmed by how just repetitive the days get.
It must be, right? Like. Okay, I'm an idiot. What does Keppeki Niisan even mean? What does that even mean?
Someone who really likes to stay clean, like overly clean.
Oh.
Just you touch some and it just Keppeki. I mean, that's what the Keppeki means.
Okay.
You're probably like, I probably like wipe it with alcohol, Like.
Right. I will ask her. But
Ask her, yeah.
But let's theorize.
But this is the only song on the album, Flapper, right?
Flapper, yeah.
The only song on the album that she wrote the lyrics
Right.
and the melody. Yala. もうやめにする. That's what she's saying, right? もうやめにする.
Yeah.
まあやめにする. Wars and Music by Minako Yoshida. Yeah. 愛は刀?
Yeah. Keppeki Niisan だけじゃない.
Keppeki Niisan, これあれやんけ.
Yeah. And you were saying Keppeki Niisan's the only one that she wrote.
Oh, not the only one. I was wrong. Sorry. Cool. All right. There you go.
It's one of the
Another
only
one.
ones. It's one
One
of
of the
like,
only ones, yes.
I don't know. She wrote
A lot.
yeah, she wrote like 2/3 of the
All right,
record.
so the Wikipedia that I read was wrong. Cool. That's how we learn, right? That's how I learn.
That's how we learn.
Thank you.
And you were talking about there's a circus version, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Just
play
popped
that
up
too.
on the YouTube. And that was funky, too.
So, are you taking inspiration from this one too, or just the?
Kinda. I'm like, yo, this song sounds nice. Slow down. I mean, I just personally love chopped and screwed. I always like slow things down and see
Right.
how that feels.
Right.
Also, that's like the best way to see if the song is like really grooving. You slow
Right.
it down and it's still got the hump, and you're like, yeah, they're doing something right.
Right.
And Minako Yoshida version sure sounds nice. Slow down. On the YouTube you can slow things down, right?
Right.
Like 75% of the speed.
Right.
And then that kind of hit the spot. So that I guess that's the version that I'm gonna try
Cool.
later today. But yeah. This inspired me.
The sax solo you were talking about.
I mean, well, yeah, sure. No, but just the whole vibe, you know what I mean? Because the original is kind of like hectic, like
Right.
this is you're dealing with this like a everyday like life almost.
Right.
And this is like you kind of like chilling with it. You're like
Right.
in it and kind of cruising,
I mean-
and I like the vibe.
This feels a lot more polished to me.
Sure. Yeah.
And I feel like that makes sense with like, because again, I mentioned before we actually started, like I think Yoshida Minako is like definitely one of, if not the best singer to come out of Japan, especially in that period of time. There's no one that has like a soulful like a voice like hers. It's also a really versatile voice. I think that like I just feel like it's really unusual for Japan at that point.
Okay. I don't know if she's an alpha artist, but there's also a Kasai. Kasai, the singer, the Japanese soul singer called Kasai. Shoot, what's her first name? Who made appearance on Herbie Hancock's album actually. Well, no, she covered the song called Butterfly by Herbie Hancock.
Kimiko Kasai.
Yeah. Is she an alpha artist? Oh no.
I don't think so.
Well, I don't think she made an appearance on Herbie's album, but you know, she covered the song. And I think Herbie played
Right.
on her record too. Yeah. But anyways. Yoshida-san is hella soulful.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's super funky. It's just super in the pocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Want to try some trivia questions?
Me?
What year was Flapper released?
Oh, 78. Wait, that's from Alpha, right? That's from Alpha, right? Alpha label?
Alpha label was 77.
Right. So 78. No?
76.
76? Oh, it's not from Alpha.
So that was my next question. What label was Flapper released under?
I don't know, Mushroom? I'm trying to...
No, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah!
You're doing the right thing.
I'm taking a hint from the previous conversation.
Right.
I don't know, man.
RCA.
RCA, yeah?
Yeah, so they produced it. And all the publishing for that record, I think, is under Alpha. Maybe all of it. Most of it's under Alpha, and it was produced by Alpha. But it was released on RCA.
Okay.
What is Minako Yoshida's first appearance on a record?
Damn. Did we talk about that? I don't know. Flute! On H.O. Taki's album. Oh, shit, we did talk about it.
The flute solo on Yubikiri.
Yubikiri?
From his first album. Who produced Flapper?
Hosono-san.
I think the credit is actually Murai-san.
Damn. Okay.
But now I'm actually not sure. So I'm like scared. But also like, I don't know how involved
That producer was.
Murai-san was.
Oh.
Because I think
And
for a lot of
music making?
stuff. Well, yeah, because I think like he would give he's credited as producer. I'm not sure how like hands-on he would have been.
I see.
Because I also know that she likes to produce herself.
So he might have just provided the
Yeah, exactly.
the environment.
It's very possible. She sang her own backing vocals, but who arranged them? I guess she's on the backing vocals for this too, with a bunch of other people, but...
Tatsuro Yamashita.
Yes.
Sir Tatsuro Yamashita.
What?
he does not sir.
What? I don't think so. I think you have to be a British citizen.
As a Japanese, it's just so weird for me to be like, oh yeah, Minako Yoshida, Tatsuro Yamashita.
Oh yeah,
It's like,
okay, yeah, I hear you.
Yamashita-san.
I know.
Tatsuro-sama.
I know.
Minako-sama.
I know. And like,
Not even with the first name.
but because of that,
Last name basis.
Yeah. 日本語で like こういう感じで話してる時に呼び捨てしそうになって逆になんかやばくなってる。
I am, and then I just caught myself.
Was it in Japanese? Well, see, if it's in English, in English, it's
You can get away.
it's okay.
But in Japanese, right?
Exactly.
I see, yeah.
No, because I'm used to talking about this stuff now, and I'm like, because I say Hosono so many times, right? I'm just like Hosono this, Hosono that. Like まずアウトじゃん。普通にアウトじゃん。
そうだね。
Like 嫌われる。
You're like, what?
Yeah. All right, I'll give you one more.
Okay.
Yoshida Minako's brother is a name that pops up often when looking through Japanese music of this time period. What did he do?
So she played flute, so he probably played oboe.
No.
Oh.
What is that reasoning? ちょっと待って.
I don't know, something handy, you know, just something that you can grab and play.
Okay,
You know,
so if
just
she played saxophone, he would play...
trumpet.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Got it.
Easy. So what does he do?
He's a engineer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool. Timotsu?
Tamotsu. Yeah.
Oh. What does he say? Sound by.
Yes.
It's interesting fonts.
He's done most of Yamatatsu's stuff.
Recording.
Yes.
Mixing too.
Yes.
Hey.
Most famous for working with Yamashita Tatsuo-san and Otaki Eiichi-san. So he did Long Vacation, Right on Time, Spacey, For You, and a bunch of other stuff. And he also did a bunch of Minako's stuff too.
Wow, super cool. Like, it's like a really cool, creative, like, bunch.
Yeah.
It's like a scene.
Yeah. And again, like, oh, right. The whole point of like talking about the interview was like,
Yeah.
sorry.
What?
I touched my mic. The whole point.
My mic is gone. Oh, here.
The whole point of talking about like those interviews was that everyone was saying how Alpha was like a family,
Oh, yeah.
and you can like really
That's what it
feel
sounds
it.
like,
Yeah,
right.
you can really feel it just from looking up.
Because me as a musician, me as someone who came up as a like a studio musician, session players, you know, like it's I always admire, you know, that kind of a place where, you know, artist musician can just come along and try something, like as you said, take risks,
Right.
you know, because with that, you know, you can actually create something that can kind of shape the coming future.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, and that's why the Alpha catalog is so good. Like,
Yeah.
any kind of music that you like, you'll find something on Alpha that will blow you away.
You know, full disclosure, when you first told me about the idea of remixing the pops, like the music that came out, you know, before my time, I'm like, cool, you know, just I'm gonna get the you know, singing a cappella track, and then I'll put some hip chords, some, you know, cool beats and stuff. You know, I'm just gonna make this music less pop, more whatever else.
Right.
But then I listened to the, you know, the music that you share with me. They were like, yo, these are actually super hip.
Yeah.
There's so much music in it, you know, the sound, groove. They were like, oh, it's real quick. I just humble myself. I'm like, oh, senpai, my big bros, big sis, just doing it, you know, just really pushing the culture.
Right.
You know, back in the 70s, the 80s, man. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. My favorite era is the 70s. I know, like, and that's
You're
always
talking about the Japanese music scene?
Well, I think
Or just in general?
across the board, it's always been the 70s. Like, the music that I gravitate to just is like 70s-esque, for lack of a better word. And I find that the same with Alpha. Like, because most of their bigger hits, I mean, their biggest hits are really, you know, YMO.
Oh,
You know, and that's 78 and on. And Hiroshi Sato is probably one of the more well-known ones today, and that's also like 79 once he joins Alpha, or 82 once he joins Alpha. But like the stuff on Mushroom, because I mean, my like musical background is more like towards like rock.
Yeah.
So I love the Mushroom label.
I see.
Like Kosaka Chu-san, I love that shit.
I'm gonna check it out too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please do.
I have no idea. But
There's this guy, Alan Merrill. I think Merrill First, which is his one record on Alpha,
yeah.
is like hands down one of the most underrated records of all time.
When did it come out?
72. It sounds like it's just like a classic early 70s singer, like psychedelic singer songwriter. You know what I mean? Like Paul McCartney type, like. But it's really good.
I'll definitely check it out.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked a fair amount.
This is like a therapy.
Good.
You got me.
We'll do this every week.
You got me kind of emotional with the bio.
Yeah?
It has nothing to do with alpha. Shit.
Oh, your bio. Okay,
just-
yeah. I was like, we didn't really get through the Minako Yoshida bio. So your bio.
But it's about Yoshida Minako-san, her genius, and then the rich music that Alpha has created.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, Alpha.
Um,
I bow to you.
what are some of your other influences? What are some of your influences as an artist?
What? As an artist?
Yeah.
What by influences?
Yeah. Maybe I'll properly bookend this. I'm gonna move on to the last couple of questions.
Well, you know what? I don't know about my influences, but what I thrive to do in every given moment is to take risks. Mm-hmm. Like, I kind of, I'm trying to learn by myself. You know what I mean? Like, creating process or doing shows as an artist, being in the public, being in front of people and doing it. It's like a process of like self-discovery, and then I kind of feel like I kind of like chaos, and then I like to try to get out of the chaos, unintentionally, because
You like to get into the chaos first and then try.
I create the chaos and I'm trying to get out of it, and then in the process of getting out of the chaos, sometimes just magic happens. I feel like, or not, but taking risks though. So, like Murata-san, yeah, like
Murai-san?
Murai-san, like what you told me
thought you were
about
saying-
him and his vision, and then like just what he was doing with the Alpha label. About like it's about letting artists take risks, and then like really experiment and create the music that probably nobody ever heard of. You said in the beginning, like before Alpha, like it was more of like the direct influence from the Western music, and then I'm sure like everybody just listened to a bunch of cool shit, and then like start creating their own. And Alpha probably was one of few, if not only, giving artists the opportunity to like really take risks, man. That's the word. Yeah.
I think the it's interesting because like the whole like Western influence thing is very much like a post-war thing, right? In Japan.
Early 70s, whole 60s. Yeah, I have no idea what it was like.
I mean, all those people grew up listening to. Well, the cool people grew up listening to FEN.
What's
the
that?
Military radio.
Oh.
Like Hosono-san and Suzuki-san. And
That's
how
what,
they discovered.
50s? That's 60s?
That's 50s and 60s.
Because jazz was huge in the 50s, right?
Right, but like.
Toshiko Kiyoshi-san. Super OG.
Yeah, I mean.
60s. I have no idea what 60 was like.
I think while jazz was big in the mainstream, I think it was like young people, like the people that go on to make music in the late 60s and the 70s grew up listening to Far East Network, the U.S. military.
That was called Far East Network? F-E-N.
Yeah. And I know that's why Hosono likes so much like rockabilly type stuff and like Americana type stuff.
That's in his blood, huh? He grew up on that.
He grew up listening to that. And I think Alpha, provided people who weren't necessarily interested in doing the most commercial music.
The mainstream that time.
Yeah. Because, I mean, very much at that time, it's all kayokyoku on the radio. Like, when Alpha's first starting, it's all group songs. And then by the time Alpha starts to get going, by like 69, group sounds is dead and folk is in. And then by like 72, it's all kayokyoku.
That's what was happening in the mainstream.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would you like to see perform like what you're doing? Like, what's another artist that you'd like to see come and take their
In this context?
Yeah. Do their own spin on an alpha song.
Who do I want to see?
Yeah.
I personally love the band Sunlocks.
Sunlocks.
Yeah, it's a band trio. Each one of the members are brilliant musicians. They did the music for the movie Everything Everywhere
Oh.
all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw the drummer Ian Cheng doing a solo performance in Bryant Park. Cause they are younger than me.
Uh-huh.
But I have a feeling that, they might like some of the music. I have a strong feeling they are incorporating the new tech
Right.
to their music creating.
Right.
And, like some of these artists from Alpha are the first ones that did that. Like all this new technology coming in, like synthesizers and
Right.
even the recording technologies. Like they were just very hungry about taking all the new things that were available. So I feel like that kind of links. Who else? I don't know, man. DeAnthony Parks, brilliant drummer. It's either my generation or above, but he's also another one of those. Like I want to see the artist who really is very hungry about incorporating the new tech with the music creating and just trying to create the new sound that cannot easily be categorized with the pre-existing genres.
Right.
I want to see those artists talk about or discovering about
Right.
the OGs
Right.
who were doing it in the 70s, man.
Cool. Awesome. I think we have a fair amount of usable stuff.
I did good, eh?
You did amazing.
I just came up with bullshit on this. Wow, I did good without knowing anything.
You hear that? Good.
Oh, wait.
I got it.
Oh yeah. That's definitely going in the video.
But you know what? It's like my genuine reaction to
totally.
discover
Totally.
this sound. I was like, damn, this is fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
there's that.
Are you ready to play?
I don't know, man. My hand's cold.
Shavontama,
Dude, the band is just fucking.
Thanks for watching another episode of My Favorite Alpha. Check out some other episodes over there and some other videos from Alpha down there. See you soon.